going through here, I already did this, recorded it, it didn't work, so I apologize for it. So I got it all marked up here on here. So again, like always, you can use your little pin, push this over. We're going over 3-4 work together here. It says Norma Dirks, journalized approved the transaction. It talks about the dates, page 1, has all these transactions. So what we want to do is first do a couple of these transactions. So you're starting here. So on the 23rd, sold services on account. So account receivable case spa on the 23rd. We sold services. It's a sales slip. It's the same as above here when they bought something. They're not paying cash. It's sold services on account, which means it'll be paid later. We will receive cash later. So when we receive cash later, that's an account receivable, which is an asset. You increase it with the debit, and then you increase sales, which is the capital account, with the credit. So that's pretty straightforward sales transaction. The next one, paid cash to the owner, withdrawal of equity. Again, the 27th is the date. Norma Dirks is the company, so it's drawing. It says we paid cash, check, so we know it's a check 7, and we're going to do a cash credit here. So we got to create this entry for drawing. So that's the first two. Then you're going to go down here, and I apologize, I got it done already, but then you're going to add up these columns, and you're not going to write these in. I can't delete it after I do it. That's the problem. So you add up the page 1 debit column, you get 5,615. So here you'd add up all these numbers, you get 5,615. Don't write them here, write them here. Then you add up the debit, and you get 5,550. You add these two up, you get a total. Then we're going to add up the credit columns. There's 3. General credit, add it up, get a number. Sales credit, add it up, put the number here. Cash credit, all the money we paid out, put the number here, add them up. If they equal, it doesn't mean it's 100% chance you got it right, but it's pretty good chance. If these don't equal, then we need to go back and figure out where the error is. If they do equal, then you put the numbers in here. We use this thing in the notes called carried forward. Use the same date. We put the 27th. We put carried forward, and we put these numbers in after we make sure they equal. We don't want to put them in, they're wrong, and then we got to go back and fix them, then we got to delete them. That doesn't serve any purpose. Fill this out first, make sure they equal, then put the totals there. So carried forward is C comes before B. So when we carry forward, computer's jammed. So when we carry forward, the next page we will brought forward, and they're already done for you. Previously, we would have to write all those in. Again, we bring forward the same date and the same numbers as last time. They just put them right up there. We're now on page 2. Now we have a few more transactions we need to record. Receive cash on account from K-Spa. So we're receiving cash. So we know we're debiting cash. It's the 29th, accounts receivable K-Spa. They're paying off their bill. They sold services on account to them. We sold services to them. Now they're paying their bill off. We're receiving $150 in cash, so we need to lower their bill, and so we lower it with a credit to the asset accounts receivable. So $150 credit to accounts receivable because they're paying their bill off, $150 to cash because it's a cash receipt. Receive cash from sales on the 30th, but the 30th, it's one of those T's. It's a T30, so we use source documents here. We check mark it. The 30th is the date. It's just there's nothing in general debit or credit. That's why we use the check mark here, and it's just a same simple sales credit, cash debit, easy transaction. We're basically adding up the cash register. I don't know why my computer constantly jams up. Sorry. And then the last one is our totals. All right, so what do we want to do? We want to add up these accounts, but we don't put them here. Okay, we wait and we prove it here on page 2. So we add up this account number, but instead of putting them here, we put them here. 5,615 cash debit, 6,330, add them up to get that number. Then we take the three credits, place them in the general credit, sales credit, cash credit, get the number. If they equal, then we know we got it we're pretty good, close, we're correct. Now again, this is pretty straightforward. We're making pretty easy examples so that we're learning it. You know, this could be 50 transactions on this page, and you'd have to add it all up, but we're just adding up a few numbers, which is fine. But once they equal, then we put these totals in the spots. You don't want to do it beforehand, because then if there's an error, we got to fix them, and then we got to erase. When you're done with this, I don't know why it's jamming, sorry. The last part of the problem is proving cash. So that you get a couple of these numbers from the directions. 0 comes from the directions. We started the month out. Now, that won't always be the case. They might have some cash balance. Total cash received during the month. What number is that? If you remember from our notes, it said cash debit next to it, which we have cash debit here. So we write 6,330. We add that to 0. We get a total. And then we go ahead and says minus total cash paid during the month. Cash credit 4,385, which again you can see up here, right? Cash credit 4,385, so it's the same spot. So we take all the money we made, cash debit, minus all the money we paid out, cash credit, to get this number. If that equals the check stub, then we know we got it right.